When I start my garden every spring, of course I choose plants that I think are going to be delicious. But I have to be honest, I usually choose plants that have a really cool retro name, especially if there's some kind of tie to the 80s. So I would like to take you on a tour right now of my retro-inspired, mostly 80s, garden. I'll start with a veggie I forgot to shoot outside in the garden, but it is now in my pepper drawer in the fridge. These are Bananarama peppers. Yes, Venus, goddess on a mountaintop. These are the real names, Bananarama peppers. They're supposed to be longer than banana peppers. Maybe I didn't have them in a good spot because mine are actually pretty short, and they can get red. Mine actually never turned red, they stayed yellow, but they're delicious. This could either be my mama's family garden or it could be my Miami Vice garden, obviously because of the pink flamingos. The pink flamingos were in the beginning of both Mama's family and Miami Vice, I think. Definitely Miami Vice. Maybe I'm making up the Mama's family thing, but I feel like it would be something that Mama would have in her garden. So this is a Dollar Tree pink flamingo. That's a World Market pink flamingo, and I love them both the same, even though this one was more expensive. My Somewhere Over the Rainbow wall is clearly coming to an end, but I wanted to make sure I got a chance to tell you what was in each of these pots before they all kind of go, they all go downhill for sure, because I've been in love with them this year. So I called it my Somewhere Over the Rainbow wall, obviously because each pot is a color from the rainbow, and I planted a corresponding color of flower in them, mostly super bells. And they're just beautiful. This one didn't come with like a fun name. This was just called Red Super Bells. But boy, I'll put a picture up later of like what it did look like because they were gorgeous during their time. This one did have a cool name. It was called Dreamsicle. Nice and orange. And you can see they got so big that they covered the pots that I actually put them in. But this one again has gone downhill pretty fast now that it's October. It was gorgeous. Love this one too. This was actually the one that I saw first and was like, oh, I must plant that somewhere. It's called Lemon Slice for obvious reasons. These super bells have been really drought tolerant this year, and I cannot wait to plant them again next year, to be honest with you. See, there's the little yellow there. Green, obviously had to go with like a succulent for something that is green on green, but this has been nice all year long too. Cannot remember for the life of me what this plant is called, but boy, during the day it is like full of these really beautiful blue flowers. I have loved having this on my wall. And then these were actually my favorite, and they died pretty early on or looked really terrible. I think it's called Grape Punch for the purple. See there. They died and then suddenly they came back full force. I don't know what exactly happened, but I have really loved this Somewhere Over the Rainbow wall this year. This one is looking really rough, but I had to show you because the blooms are so pretty. I think it's just called Bubblegum, and they're so pretty. I had this in my like Zeus planter, but you can see it looks pretty straggly, so I'm probably gonna have to get rid of it soon. But I love the names, I love the colors. They've just been terrific. Sort of an understatement to say my Hey Mickey garden went a little nuts this year. The bees are loving it. Obviously it's the Hey Mickey garden because it's all basil from Tony Basil, who sang Hey Mickey in the 80s, but this is just sweet basil and it has gone nuts. I need to actually pick it very soon. I have been getting a lot out of it. This one kind of nestled in here. No, right here. This is the Siam basil. I mean, it is like my favorite basil ever. And then nestled deep down in here is the boxwood basil. All of this is delicious. All of this, believe it or not, I will cut and dry and have for the entire winter so that I have lots of delicious basil through the winter months until I can plant this again in the spring. But whoa, Nelly. Here are my Feelin Hot Hot Peppers. Look, when I pulled this branch up, I mean, this plant is just overrun with these peppers. The official name is Armageddon peppers. I call them the Feelin Hot Hot Peppers because they are over 1 million Scoville units, which doesn't even seem real. I have no idea why I started growing these or what I'm gonna do with them. Again, I named them after that song Feelin Hot Hot Hot. I think the guy's name was Buster Poindexter from the 80s. You can see there's a green one right there. They start out green and then they just turn into this beautiful bright red, and they don't even look real, to be honest with you. And I hate to even pull up this plant because it's still producing so much, but again, I have no earthly idea what I am going to do with these peppers. Foxtail ferns are probably one of the first things I look for every single year for my garden because I love them. Of course, I call this the Fox and the Hound fern. I loved that movie back in the old days, back when I was a kid. But you can see the little red berries starting to come out on them. I love them. They start out so small and they just get ginormous by the end of summer. When I visited New Orleans one year, they had these and they were just like, I mean, they were unbelievably huge because I guess they get to grow all year long. But I love this thing and I will continue to look for them every year for my garden. I told you I loved my Fox and the Hound plant so much that I have it on my front porch as well. You guys remember that movie, Fox and the Hound, right? Where the Fox and the Hound were friends when they were little and then they turned into enemies when they were growing up. I'm a fox, I'm a hound. I loved that movie. It was so good. Of course, now I'm like, oh gosh, fox hunting, kind of crazy. But anyways, Foxtail Fern is what it's really called, and I love them, put them everywhere. This one's actually a little bit bigger than the one that's in my backyard, in my driveway. Now, keeping along with the kids' movie theme, this is my Pete's Dragon plant, also known as Dragon's Breath. I adore this plant. It will dry out and look all weepy, and I think I've killed it, and then water it, and it comes right back. It bounces back, and you can see these beautiful little, like, fiery things, which I think that's the Dragon's Breath. When I got it, the plant was much smaller and these were much larger, but I love how it's filled out and I really hope that it's around for a long time, like in the fall, because I love this pop of color. And of course I love Pete's Dragon too, because that was totally my era. 1977, Pete is friends with Elliot. Gosh, kind of unlikely friends, kind of like the Fox and the Hound. But it's a musical. You know, there's a cartoon, there's real actors, there's singing. It's like the best movie ever. And if you don't know it, you got to check it out. So yeah, there's my Pete's Dragon plant. Parsley, doing really great. Sage, I think it's pineapple sage. Rosemary, and thyme. You get the idea. And then my thyme turns into the Time After Time garden, which this is German thyme, this is creeping thyme, and this is obviously my tribute to Miss Cyndi Lauper and Time After Time. I thought I had another one in here, but guess not. Strawberry Shortcake actually did pretty good this year. Obviously this is a strawberry plant and I have named it Strawberry Shortcake. But they did produce quite a few strawberries this year, which I really love. They were very tiny. The birds usually get most of my strawberries, so there's not a lot for me, but I was able to grab a few, and you can see these blooms are still there. They might turn into something. I probably won't get rid of this pot too soon, just to kind of see what happens. But love my Strawberry Shortcake plant. If your tomato garden looks like mine, shame, shame on you. I cannot believe I just let it grow crazy every year, and I think it's because tomatoes are such a set it and forget it kind of plant. You don't need to give them much love, but here is one that is ready to go. I need to check to see. There it is. I found the marker and it's called Chocolate Stripe, and I totally remember planting this now because I called them my Willy Wonka tomatoes. And let me see if I can find another one on the vine. A lot of them are rotting, which is sad because I'm doing such a bad job of picking them. You can see how ugly they are at the top. That makes no difference on the inside. They are still just delicious. Chocolate Stripe Willy Wonka. Love it. My retro garden also includes some beautiful flowers. These are zinnias. I needed to show them to you because I actually had to pull them up a few weeks ago, but the beautiful pink and orange colors were all 80s. I loved them. I want to plant more and more and more of these next year because they provided so much pops of color in the garden before the veggies actually came in. This was my attempt at a Little House on the Prairie wildflower garden. Didn't exactly turn out right. The bees kind of love it, and I do have a couple of really pretty flowers. I did the same thing last year. This is a hard to grow spot. It's just a little, you know, maybe 2 or 3 inches wide, and it goes up my driveway. I planted just a bunch of wildflowers last year. It looked great. Didn't turn out that way this year. I don't know if they were just different seeds in the pack or what, but little overgrown, didn't get a ton of color, unfortunately, and so I will be happy to see this get pulled up fairly soon. Like I said, a few pops of color, but not what I had wanted for my little house on the prairie wildflower garden. Hasta la vista, baby. Yes. These are my hostas. I usually have a lot more. They look terrible right now, but just wanted to say, yes, I do have a hosta garden, and I do call it my Hasta la vista baby garden. She's called a sun mouse. She's called a silly string. And let me tell you, this one, I'll pull a weed here, make it look a little better. They are super pretty when they are actually in the midst of summer. This is a total retro garden fail. This is Heather, Heather, and Heather. They all died before I could plant them. Kind of sucks, but I'll try again next year. Hello, olive oil. I am talking about olive oil, Popeye's love interest, of course. This is my olive tree. I got it from Trader Joe's a couple months ago, and actually, when I brought it home, it lost all of its leaves, and I thought it was doomed. But she rebounded. Thank you, olive oil. She must have been eating spinach like Popeye. And now she looks great. And I'm happy to bring this in for the winter and hope that one day I can have some olives. These are beautiful Marone peppers. I did not include them in this video because I actually shot another video on my channel that is the non-retro garden tour of my house. So check out that. I'll put that link in the description box down below. But I will say, now that I'm thinking about it, all these Marone peppers are kind of shaped like this. So I should have called them my ET phone home peppers. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day. See you in the next video. Hello? Operator? Wait, there's no such thing as an operator anymore? What? Can I make a long distance call?